All right, everyone, it is now April, so it's time for a general literary update. Now, I'm not going to do anything for April Fools because, I don't want to piss anybody off or anything. There's a lot of weird stuff going on, though, around the web. It's like, go check out 4chan, so-called politically correct. It's, My Little Politics now for a day. Hopefully they leave it there for a week because then people will be even more epically butthurt and upset. It's so fucking funny. Anyway, it's time to talk about literature, because of course April is Herbal Month. Now, if I look outside, it doesn't look like spring yet. It still looks like winter. We actually just got a couple of inches of wet snow. It'll melt off within a few days, but it doesn't look springy yet. So it's kind of holding back my ambition in regards to botanical and mycological stuff, that sort of stuff. In spring, when the birds start cheeping and there are grasshoppers and stuff like that, and the grass starts turning green, it's like, yes, finally I can go outside and garden and stuff. But it's going to be a few weeks, I think, before that takes hold. But the first work that I'm working on is Weeds as Medicine. This is one that I actually got about half done editing months ago. Actually, it was last year. I had to change the date on the booklet because I had expected its release in 2016. I shelved it because I started working on my own works, and before that I was working on a couple of the academic volumes. So I'm going to plow through that. I'm now 3/4 done with it. In the last couple of days, I got some work done. Then I have to illustrate it, and that's the problem. I've also got another herbal. I can't remember which one within my catalog actually this is, but it's actually completely edited. Everything's done except for the illustrating. And that's really the kicker for me because illustrating, it takes me longer. I have to be more caffeinated to do it ably. I have to process everything. Whereas editing all text, it's easier for me. I have more of that literary mind, less of the creative, artistic side of me exists as far as actually drawing things and then getting that accomplished, with the exception of rather spare cover art, generally, because I like the more formal approach. But these two editions will be done. I'm also going to be doing Counterblast to Tobacco, which is a reformist tract written by none other than King James, the same King James of demonology fame, the same dude who led to the deaths of tens of thousands of people in his lifetime and untold hundreds of thousands thereafter as the burning times took off. Actually, in the medical sense, was a significant reformer of his era, and the fact that he merely was able to write such a tract, in which he drags the religious language in, of course, but there is some logic there, is actually astonishing. He was a very, very exceptional individual, honestly, despite the fact that he, again, killed tens of thousands of people thinking that they were trying to bewitch him and so forth. But I'm going to be doing that as well because that ties into the herbal sort of health, homeopathy, medical stuff within that category. It's not just herbals, it's herbals and then sort of the medically associated works within that category. In addition to this, I may start work on a few other herbal titles for later on, but when May comes, it'll no longer be Herbal Month, it'll be time to go. I think I'm going to try to release an edition of the Ars Goetia. It'll take me months because of all of the seals that I have to draw, but those are a little bit easier to do, to stylize and format than Herbals. With that, you're trying to make it at least semi-realistic, unless you're going woodcut mode or something, and I can't really do that. But if you've seen the illustrations for Fruits of Eden, certain types of plants are easier to draw than others. And I'm better at drawing certain types of plants than I am others. I'm somewhat competent when it comes to botanical arrangements, but I'm not exactly a genius of drawing or anything like that. I'm more of the stick figure drawing sort, or architecture, because that's a lot more simple to my, perhaps that hemisphere of my brain or something. But I will be working on all of these things. I may release another self-titled tract as well during the same actual period of time. I haven't decided that yet because there are a couple of other titles people asked for, like a one on robotics. I know extraterrestrial evolutionary development sort of covers that, but it's primarily about human development and projecting that to other potential sentient organic races. But several people have wanted me to write one on the topic specifically of robotic ethics. And I think I'm going to do that. Again, I might wait until May to release such a thing, but I've got so many works backed up. I mean, we're talking not a few dozen texts, we're talking about hundreds of them, some of which are in various stages of completion already, and I just put them off to the side, like the Asuri Kalpa, the witchcraft tradition. I haven't completed that either. It's like it's fully formatted, It's ready to begin the editing process line by line. I've just got to get the energy to actually do it. That tends to be a problem because I got like raging ADHD. So I'll get something started and then I won't quite finish it. It'll be half done and I'll put it off for months, maybe years. I did this with Sickness and Hell. All of the basic source material was already written half a decade before I started editing it. And even then, like at several points, I shelved the project for weeks at a time while I worked on other things. Even though that is honestly my most important work, specifically the work that most affects me psychologically, I shelved for half a decade. So that's just sort of the way I am with the literary side. That's why a lot of these works that I sort of relish the chance of editing are on the shorter side, because if I can plow through them and complete them more quickly, now I don't lose interest as easily. You're talking something that's full length. It's easier to have that happen, honestly, with my mentality. So just a general literary update for everyone. I'm still doing edited work. Some people are like, "Oh, you've stopped editing things. Now you're just going to write your own." Kind of. I wanted to get some more of my own sort of political and social works out last month. Did 3 of them. Or did I do 4? I think I actually did 4 of them. Against communism, against corporate media, extraterrestrial development, and improving, yeah, 4, because improving the state came at the beginning of last month as well. I almost forgot. Those actually have done remarkably well. Occult Memetics has done even better, so it's rather interesting to me. I figured that there'd be more of a market for the grimoires, like the diabolical side of magic. And actually, a lot of as far as sales totals go, a lot of the editions that are actually doing the best have nothing to do with that at all. They're like some political work that I wrote, or something that's pure white magic, maybe the Ars Notoria, which really isn't diabolical at all, or the Book of Forbidden Arts, which nonetheless is half of its content is like seances and hoax busting and stuff like that, and yet you wouldn't believe how popular actually the edition is. I never saw that coming. I figured like 10 people would buy copies of it. Instead, it's like the best seller for a couple of the months since I've released it. So literary update, yes, I'll be working on a couple of herbals, a couple of other random sort of homeopathy medicine tracts. And those will be released in time. Link is always in the description to my books blog, among half a dozen other links at this point, because I got more accounts now. If you want up-to-date notifications, you should really follow me on Twitter. If you want some of the more wry, strange humor, you might want to follow on Facebook. And also, everything now is double uploaded both on YouTube and VidMe. I am still in the process of backing things up on Dailymotion. That will eventually be the 3rd site as well. I've abandoned the idea of live leak. It's just not going to work. I'm not going to individually embed everything on my own page. Not going to happen. I'll have an account there just in case, but it'll be slapped together. As far as mines, I haven't gone back onto it, but I do plan to. I've got to figure out more about it, essentially, before I start using it. I still have work to do on Dailymotion anyway, so that'll be sort of the 4th site. That's about all. Peace out.